Folks, this video is about history repeating itself. And to get into this, I'd like to introduce you to a person in the Bible called Amalek. Amalek was the first person in the Bible to attack the children of Israel when they left Israel. And who did he attack? Exodus tells us he attacked the women, the children, and the stragglers. In other words, he attacked the weak and defenseless. God says he will be at war with Amalek in every generation. And who is a descendant of Amalek? Haman. This is in the book of Esther. And Esther said, a foe and enemy, this wicked Haman. Then Haman was terrified before the king and Queen Esther. That's Esther chapter 7, verse 6. Haman tried to commit genocide the first time a genocide against the Jewish people. Oh, the Jews were enslaved in Egypt, yes, but never a genocide. Hamas attacks Israel in such a demonic way, beheading children, burning people alive, forcing parents to witness the suffering of their children. This is history repeating itself before our lives. This is the spirit of Amalek that we're witnessing with Hamas in Iran. The Iranian regime is the head of the snake, so to speak. There's no doubt that this conflict is going to broaden, that it's going to open up another front, probably in the north with Lebanon and Syria, because both Hamas and Hezbollah are really proxies of Iran. And so one of the challenges, like in medicine, is that you can't just deal with the symptom. No. You'll never get rid of the disease unless you can get rid of the root that causes the conflict. So, in this case, Israel must get rid of the root of this conflict with Iran. One of the reasons why this is happening now is because Iran is terrified of the Abraham Accords and any sort of coming together relationship, any peace that could exist between Israel and Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states is probably one of their worst nightmares. They're trying to derail that at the moment because Iran is biblical Persia. Now, we know that on the biblical perspective, Haman came out of Persia. Let's look at the Jewish biblical holidays now. The biblical holidays are meant to be a prophetic timepiece, a prophetic picture of redemption. And that's interesting. It's interesting that Passover, the day God brought Israel out of Egypt, the day Jesus died on the cross, happens on the 14th day of the month of Nisan. Now, 14 is the number of the hand in Hebrew. It happens in the first month of the Hebrew calendar. The best holiday of the biblical calendar is Purim. And that deliverance happens on the 14th day of the month of Adar, when God delivered Israel and Persia from Haman. This represents something very significantly prophetically. Passover represents redemption at the beginning of history. Purim, at the end of the calendar, it represents what's going to happen at the end of history. So it's no surprise that Iran Persia has risen up again in the spirit of Haman, which is the spirit of Amalek. And the spirit of Amalek is alive today in the world, coming after the Jewish people. They wanted to wipe out every Jewish man, woman, child, and that's exactly the same spirit that we see going on with Hamas in Iran today.